The next part is this M section, which there is no parallel to this on planet Earth. There is no place else that you can go where what's done in section M for you has been done, which is to take you through case studies, start to finish, for businesses where these techniques have now been applied, and take you chapter and verse through everything it took to do those particular transactions. So, full leverage buyouts, how are they done? Specific case studies, which starts with that basic leverage buyout strategy. We always start with that, by the way, because see, once you understand that, it gives you that first dynamic insight into all of these elements that are part of this process, and how by orchestrating them and by being innovative with those different components, you can create a vast array of different strategies and different methods, all evolving out of that creative thought process that went into making the basic leverage buyout strategy work. So whether it's the full leverage buyout strategy that I know you're all familiar with, because that's part of what attracted you to Bizar Financing, was seeing the kind of creativity that went into that. But that's just the beginning. We go on strategy after strategy, tactic after tactic, case study after case study, different methods, different permutations and combinations of the tools and the way that they come together to do this, so that you can see that the array by which you can do this is endless. It's limited only by your own imagination and creativity. And once you've mastered the basics, once you know the pieces and how they come together, and you've seen them in the specific case studies and how they were used, now your own innovation and your own ingenuity comes into play, so that you become now a co-creator in your own life of these types of techniques and these types of methods. And if you run into a block, again, I want to re-stress, that's why we have the advisor line. That's why we have these live webinar series, so that when we get into questions and answers, when we get into mind mapping, and when we get into brainstorming strategies and building these various types of support systems for you, that you can work within the framework of that and end up with just the techniques that are right for you and right for the transaction you're trying to complete in the building of your company. So again, we've listed these various case studies. There are more in there than we actually list here, but we give you an idea of what the strategies are and what pages you find them on. They're all in the videos. They're on the audios. There are some that are written up that we don't even have on the video and audio yet, but they're written up, so you really need to go through all the written text, because there'll be some that are on the audio that are not on the video, some that are on the video that are not written, and vice versa and versa. So you really need to go through all of them in all three mediums. Go through the audios, go through the videos, go through the various segments of the written material. And when you're finished with that, you are going to have an incredible understanding and vision of how these techniques have come together for others, how they've come together in business situations similar to yours, how you can use them, modify them, work with them to make happen what you want to make happen. And all of these techniques, very, very powerful, and they work. They're being done every day out there by our graduate base. They just go on and on and on, and just so that one of them is going to be right on point for you. And even the ones that aren't on point for you, just understanding them and knowing that they're an option for you helps to stimulate your thinking, helps to make it possible for you to use our materials in ways that your creativity comes into play to make a deal, in particular, all yours, all of your own creation. Now, once you've been through the case study section and all of the earlier sections, you are now in Quitman. I mean, you have all the pieces in place now. And here comes where we separate the men from the boys and the women from the girls. I mean, this is where we do the next, because all that is just knowledge if you don't put it into action. And that's the hard part, folks, because you can be very bright, you can be very smart, you can be knowledgeable, you can have all the information in your head, you can have it at your fingertips, but if you're a storehouse of information and you don't put it into action, it's worth nothing to you, unless you want to be an advisor to somebody else. So you got to get out there and do it. You got to get out there and take the plunge and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. And then that requires a whole different leap. It requires a whole different mindset than anything else that's happened in this program since you started it, which is how do you take the plunge, man? How do you step out into that big, wide, cruel world out there, grab this bull by the horns, wrestle it to the ground, and make it happen for you? And so Section N is designed through the audios, the videos, and the written material to help you develop that mindset that gets you comfortable, not absolutely comfortable, because you'll never be absolutely comfortable, but gets you comfortable enough and determined enough and self-confident enough to go out there and start taking the action steps that make it happen for you. And as you can see, that end section is one of your 101 links of your chain. Because if you do the whole 100 others and you master them, and taking action is your one rusty link, it's not going to happen. So this is a course, this is a program, this is a support system, this is a tool set about getting results. And we're here to help you get that. We've even gone to the extent where somebody has called us up, and this is an actual case, this goes back about 1.5 years ago, somebody calls us up and says on our advisor line, you know, I've mastered everything, man. I'm really comfortable. I know everything I've got to do. I'm ready to do it. But I still have this self-confidence issue. Is there anybody that you could partner me up with who has that level of self-confidence that I could work with to actually make my first deal happen? And we, within our group, find him a partner, and the two of them went out and they actually did it together. So we're a resource to you. We're totally committed to you and to making this happen for you. The only thing we can't do for you is to do the work for you, to do the homework, to get into these sections, to learn them, to master them, to understand them, and to be willing to take the hard action steps that are required to actually start making it happen for you. But you'll never find a resource like us anywhere on planet Earth. We are entrepreneurs. We live to make this work for you. So use us. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. Now, once you get through the table of contents here, every one of these is supported in the following ways. And this is where I'm going to take you now into the website itself. There it is.
Good morning.
When you log into the website, this is what you're going to find. We went into the workbook table of contents. Essentials is the hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours. It goes through that whole introductory exercise of the full leverage buyout. So most of you I know are familiar with it. So there's no point in my getting into it. You can just re-experience it anytime you want to here. The orientation takes you to the page that you're on here. And then every one of these sections takes you to one of those sections in the workbook, whether it's A1, Psychology of Business Success Part 1. All these sections now are all here, and here's how you get into them. And I'm going to take you to some of the sections, because if I don't, and you didn't just go there on your own, then you wouldn't know what was here and how it works for you. But let me take you to the section, for example, on Business Price Calculator. And I want to show you how this section lays out.
Section N.
Okay, first of all, there is the video that takes you step by step through the Business Price Calculator, shows you exactly how to use it. Every one of these sections here take you through a different place. So, for example, if you click on this one, it takes you into the workbook section. It explains in writing every step that you're going to have to take to make that happen for you. It starts with the Business Price Calculator, how to determine a fair price for a business, and literally in 10 minutes. And it takes you through everything step by step. But we don't just rely on that. We have an audio, Part 1, and audio, Part 2. Both of those explain it in the audio portion. Okay, you got the video explanation here. That pops up automatically. But the reason we have it in audio for you as well is, I don't know about you, but I love to take advantage of time when I'm in traffic to learn stuff. And so by putting it on here, you can download these to an MP3 player, play them in your car, play them when you're sitting around home and you don't have something else that you absolutely need to be doing. So you take advantage of times that you can't really do much of anything else, and you learn this stuff. You reinforce it over and over again. We've had people that have told us they've listened to these various sections of audios 20 times, 20 times. And I'm serious about that. 20 times and more, till it's ingrained in them so that they don't have to think about it anymore. It's just automatic. It's just automatic. It becomes part of them. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, there isn't anything in our program that you shouldn't make part of you. It should be as natural to you as getting up and getting out of bed in the morning. Because if it is, you're ready for anything that comes up. And then the actual business price calculator is downloadable, which means that you can literally download it right to your computer and then use it to complete any of the exercises that you want. And by periodically going back to this particular button and by going back to this particular section, you'll always make sure that you have the latest version. Now, this particular version that's up here has not been changed now since August 9th of 2008. But periodically, we do update these things. This is a tried and true tool. This thing has been so perfected over time that we have not had to upgrade it for the last couple of years. But there are some of our tools that are upgraded as last month. And by going to the website every time you need to use the tool and downloading the latest version, you'll always know that the latest versions are there for you. And all of our tools are made user-friendly. So if there's any number on here, any number that you're going to input, any number in blue is a number you input, and guess what? Every one comes with an instruction of where does this number come from, how do you get it, and how can you be comfortable that you're putting the right number in. So we don't leave anything to chance here. We don't leave it to you to have to second guess us. We don't leave it for you to have to second guess the form. All of the things are here. Now, I'm not going to get into the trainings of these particular tools because I am going to do that in later sessions. I'm going to take you through these tools piece by piece by piece so that you can have a comfort factor that you know how to fill out these tools and make them work for you and make them work for you with confidence and quickly. But I just want you to see that these tools are all here for you, that make sure by downloading the latest version, you know you'll always have the most current version. Okay, so the tools are right here in the section. Then we give you sample pages that go to support this, audios that train you and teach you about these sample pages that we have for you to help you with certain things or certain aspects of it, certain other tools that support the business price calculator that help you understand and make sure you're using right numbers for your industry. All these things are here, and again, I'm not going to go into the explanation of how this tool particularly works for you because we will cover that later. It's also covered in the materials. I just want you to see how our system is laid out here. The way that we structured this for you is everything that you need is on the page. So everything from the video instructions to the workbook where it's thoroughly explained, every piece of what's in that business price calculator is explained here. The audios fully explain everything so that you can download these, play them in your car, wherever it is that you can play them over and over and over again to really get comfortable that you understand it, you follow it, know it, and you've made it part of you. The business price calculator tool itself is here and it's downloadable. So once you've downloaded it, you've got it. It's now available to you, and a download always will give you the most recent version. So that way, if there's a new version that's come out since the last time you used it, you don't keep using the one you've been using. You can go here and you get the latest updated version. So we want to make sure you're always current with what's required. There are tools and pages that support this tool. There are samples of them here. There's audio explaining these samples, and there's an actual financial statement forecaster that can support this that's also available here. It's the actual Excel tool. You just click on it and you got it. But everything that you'll need to fully, effectively utilize the business price calculator is all on the page. And then the same thing is true, for example, with all the leveraging techniques. Now, a lot of you came into our program and you were told that there were 56 techniques. Well, we're up to 114 right now, and all of them are explained fully in the workbook. If you go to the workbook section, for example, you'll see where all of the things are categorized, how you raise money from the seller, starts on page G2. How you raise money from the seller's business starts on G9.